Love is in the air inside the Imagination Station. That's why you've got to imagine it. Carl here is the chief scientist and also the chief florist. He has a side hustle. What's happening with all these colors?
Well, Valentine's Day is coming up, and I thought, super cool thing you can do at home that's really easy. You can color flowers using food coloring.
Okay.
Okay? And so I've done a whole bunch of different flowers here, but before we do that, I was just going to talk about the process by which this happens, right? So if you think of the stem of a flower, in a simplified way, there are like little tubes inside there that allow water to be drawn up through something called capillary action, right? So let's set that up. I've got a big jug of food coloring here, and this is a demonstration that when it goes wrong, it really goes bad.
Yeah, so if you're going to do this at home, make sure you have
probably not going to do this one. But
okay, don't do this at home.
Teacher, this would be great. I've got 2 pieces of acrylic. On one side, they're just butted against one another. On the other side, I've jammed in a skewer, okay? So we have a gap. There's a big gap, and it goes down to nothing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this down into the food coloring. We're just going to let it sit there for a bit while we talk, okay? So what's going to happen is that capillary action is going to begin pulling up water, and we're going to see which side it gets pulled up on. Now, while that's doing that, the cool thing you can do, this is the perfect time of year to do this sort of activity because it's dry. Capillary action only accounts for part of what's happening here. That water gets pulled up, but at the top it's got to go somewhere. Otherwise it would just stop, the process would stop. And so evaporation from the leaves and from the petals allows the water to pull up. And so if you take your food coloring, maybe put it in, see, we're lucky here at the Science Center. We've got these little glass test tubes that we can put things in. But if you don't have one of those, you can use a soda straw and bend it over and tape it shut.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Put your food coloring in. And often you'll hear this suggested that you want to like put water in there. Don't do it. Straight food coloring.
All right.
You can get really brilliant colors.
Pro tip.
And the really super cool thing though, and this is like my favorite thing ever, is if you split the stem, okay? I got red and yellow. And so half the flower becomes blue and yellow. Blue on one side, yellow on the other side, and really subtly in the middle, you get some color mixing and it turns green.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Is that awesome?
Yeah.
I love this. And so I started, let's see, this one about, an hour ago. And it is so dry right now at this time of year. You get that beautiful sort of coloration. This one right here was started about 2 days ago. And these guys they're kind of wilting. That's about 3 days ago, right here.
Look how saturated they are.
But the color is really saturated. Now, if you go back to our plate over here, you can see the side that does not have the skewer in it, the food coloring is being pulled up. I don't know if should I pull that out to get a better view of that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, you can really see on the other side, the food coloring is really low. On the close side, it's been pulled up, all because of that capillary action.
This is also an accurate graph of flower sales as you head to Valentine's Day.
That could be. You know, when I stopped at the florist and when I picked up some roses, look at this is beautiful. They thought I was actually going to paint them. And they were suggesting flowers that would work well for painting. I said, no, I'm going to use some science, and we're actually going to soak them in food coloring. And look, even the leaves on this one, on the bottom, have turned a lovely shade of blue. So some really cool stuff here that you can do.
I feel like I'm part of the Avatar planet around here.
And another great one, right? Blue and yellow. A tiny bit of green inside. I would challenge people, if you could do this, post those and share them with us at the Science Center.
Yeah.
Post them online. And an even bigger challenge, which I was unable to do, split the stem 4 ways. Really hard to do.
There you go.
One last pro tip before we go. If you slice these, slice them at an angle.
Away from you.
Away from you. Have mom and dad do it. The reason why, if you slice them straight like that and you put it in your container, the bottom might get choked off and you won't get the stuff moving up in. Cut it at an angle, you get a much better result.
There you go. You're going to get pro horticulture tips down here at the Imagination Station. You can come on down on Saturday because on Saturday they have a special. You get to smell the flowers and you can bring a kid who lives in Lucas County with a paid adult admission. That kid on Saturday only gets in free. And you can hand a flower to somebody before you come and then just take this tip home with you.
It's got food coloring on the bottom. Be careful.
Okay, thanks very much, Carl. I'll just hold that over there. All right. Yeah, it smells like Pandora. That's how you imagine it.